Yo, this is Conversations with A and B. I am the A. My name is Abie Delis. I am a graphic designer by profession. I also run a company called Fearless Designs. We handle anything to do with graphics, sometimes printing as well. Why the podcast? The podcast is something that Brice and I felt would be cool to start. We felt that we've got stuff to say. We've got experiences that we feel other people can learn from, other people need to hear as well. And that's kind of why we wanted to start this podcast journey and just dive into a lot of topics. Some of the topics I want to dive into would be men's mental health specifically. As well as being a girl dad. I also want to touch on relationships a little bit, but I think I'll grill Brice more about that than actually speak to you about it myself.
Welcome to Combos with A and B. I'm the B in this equation. My name is Brice Petersen. This has been on our heart for quite some time, Abie and I, where we wanted to speak about, things that are very close to our hearts, where we find ourselves in certain situations, and I think we find it difficult to just speak about it, and what tools we use to get us to the place that we want to be. It's going to be interesting, it's going to be nice to hear people's opinions, especially yours. The journeys that we went on might be different. You experience it your own way, but just be able to have the tools to get you to the next level. So from Coach B, I hope you enjoy the journey, stay with us, and tune in when you can and engage.
Okay, so earlier on you spoke about who you are, some of your passions and stuff like that. So let's talk more about Coach B and the origins of Coach B. So how did that come about?
It's actually interesting. It's a journey that really got me to the place where I needed to be. But I obviously needed to start somewhere. And the one place where it did start was as a player. Obviously football is my life, soccer is my life. It's what I do, it's what I love doing. It runs in the family. Been playing it from the age of 3. And when you get to that point where you need to make a decision, it's either I stop playing and focus on education, or I keep playing and hoping that I one day reach the dream that might not even be worth reaching. And unfortunately, I was forced into that decision because of an injury.
Okay. Just before you carry on, where did you get injured?
Tore ligaments in my ankle. Obviously, rather than say it's cliche, it's what this, every single soccer player says that. Okay, fine, cool. We all say that. But I spent some time in England. I played with Colonel's reserve team. Not as lucrative as many other players. But obviously that was a downfall of my own, which I will touch on.
Yeah.
But I did tore ligaments in my ankle. I just got back from England. I was training, tore ligaments in my ankle, and then it was either education or carry on chasing the dream that's not there. And then obviously we got to find a way that you want to still be in the sport, so you got to try and find what's my next avenue.
Yeah.
Because obviously you need something.
But now, how do you navigate that? Because you got this dream. It's kind of like put on hold because of your injury. And then how do you transition? I would think it's quite difficult. You know what I mean? What was that process like for you? Going from player, injury, to what am I going to do now?
I think what people don't understand is that I actually started coaching before I got injured.
Okay.
So
Okay.
I would even, I think it was 2012. I started coaching in 2009. So I started coaching at Quartz High School. So that transition, when that moment came, it was easier for me. But at the same time, I have to admit that I still wanted that dream because I knew that if I can recover from this, then I could still be able to get it. But at some point, I'll never forget the day I think I was running on this ground and I had a brace on my ankle. And I was just running around the ground and I'm like, you know what? There's really no point because I'm 22, I'm turning 22 in that year, and it's like, am I going to keep pushing myself or am I going to start transitioning into something else that's going to give me purpose? And at that time, I thought maybe I should just become a chartered accountant. Why not? I'm going to make money.
I mean, you were studying it as well.
Exactly. So I was studying it, so I was like, okay, let's just become a chartered accountant. Until in there.
It's a different story.
There's a different story.
It's
Then you're
not
like,
soccer.
exactly. It's not soccer. It's not
Sure,
soccer.
sure.
And then you must be reporting to people, and it's not a nice place to be.
Yeah.
And I think for me, I needed to go through that, and I obviously did the auditing side. I got my degree. I did my articles, and I think actually in COVID, I lost my job.
I think that is a strong point for a lot of people. So I think maybe let's pause there and just dive a little bit more into it, because I think maybe that's something a lot of people can relate to. So with you losing your job during COVID period, like what was that like? What was that whole period like? Because like I know there was a lot of stress and anxiety on my end. Whether I might be put in that same position or not.
Yeah.
What happens to my whole family, you know what I mean? But
I don't
it's not
have
about
a
me now.
family.
Let's talk about you. How was that whole segment for you?
I don't have a family. I don't have someone that I can say, you know, I need to raise this person and be and create examples with this person. I just had my family around me, and I think the timing of it was perfect in the sense that I was close to family because we were obviously locked down. But I also said that these people just decided they want to find something so they don't have to obviously sign me off.
Yeah.
You must understand something that while I was doing my auditing, I was volunteering as a coach. When I say
So you
volunteering,
weren't even getting paid
I'm
for
not
it?
getting paid. I'm not getting paid. So let's keep in mind that I moved to Joburg in 2017, right? Let's not forget that.
Let's not forget.
Actually, no, May 2016. It was May 2016. 2015 was when we had a young episode.
We want to talk about that one. Yeah, that'll be another day.
Yeah, that'll be another day. So I moved to Joburg, and I always knew that if I had moved to Joburg, then I would be able to earn more money than I'm earning in Petersen. I think that was a big thing for me. Obviously, money is something we all want. You can't deny it.
Facts.
So I actually moved to Joburg, started getting more, and one of the guys that I was on course with, he was at Wits University, and he saw me and he said I must give him my CV because he was like, "You're not even in any soccer." I was like, "No."
Can I just ask a question?
Yes.
Were you let a bribe when he offered us to take your CV? So it wasn't one of those.
No.
How can you say
No,
I'm
no,
for you?
no.
Okay, no.
No, Clayton Sports is also from Durban, so
Wait, you
know, so you want to
doctor, but I operate like okay.
But it wasn't that. It was Brandon was playing for Wits University at the time, and I went to watch him. And, I went to go see Brandon, and he was there, and he was like, "Hey, you remember me from the course?" And he's like, "So you're not involved in any soccer?" He's like, "No." He's like, I told him no, and he's like, "That can't be." And then I sent him my CV, and then I started coaching. Okay, and that's when the spark grew because 2017 I started coaching, and then I fell in love with it. I had an amazing season. I saw how I impacted boys' lives, and I think that's what really drew me more to it, the fire and light, and that's where also Coach B comes from as well. Because after that year, I was like, I can't do the same mistakes that I did as a player.
Yeah.
For myself personally, I can't do that. There needs to be something else. So I said, okay, no stress. Let's create something else. That's where Coach B comes from.
Okay.
So it's not just about just Coach B, just being Coach B. It's something that I needed to do in order for me to grow to the next level.
Yeah, elevate like.
Exactly. Put a brand to me. I even got a blog post that I wrote and I said brand me. And I explained why I did what I did.
And I think you need to bring those blog posts back, just by the way.
I mean, we'll see how it goes. It's a lot to write, and then obviously, I think it was how many years after that? 3 years after that. 2 years after that, because now we're 2018. Then I lost my job in COVID after literally traveling the whole of South Africa for the company, and then they were like, hey, you were busy with fraud. I was like, fraud how when I'm broke? If I'm gonna steal from you or do something fraudulent, I'm gonna steal money from you.
Yeah, short.
You understand what I'm saying?
Short.
But they said that I did some things and there was a case open and it was a dark time. It was a time that I really put in the back of my mind because no one's remembered dark time. But also we also got to remember that in those dark times we need to remember how we rose from that.
Yeah.
And I think that's important.
100%.
Because in that moment, sorry, I wanted to ask something. In that moment I had to figure out how do I start making money from my soccer. And people are coming to, why don't you hold coaching clinics? Why don't you do this? And I was like, that's not what I want to do. You understand? I want to be in a team. Yeah. And how can I do it when I'm not getting paid? And I remember in 2020, was it 2021? COVID was opening up, they allowed us to be out, and I started coaching again. And I was just fortunate enough that I have the parents that I have because we obviously got a family business. Yeah. And they needed assistance with accounting. So I was getting, I told them, okay, just cover my expenses and I'll see what I can do. And it worked out. Yeah. It helped me get to where I needed to get to. Yeah. So I had an income coming in. And I could do what I love doing.
Yeah, so you had the security, even though it was still a dark time. Because I mean, I would like to assume it takes a while to get out of the dark time. It's not going to be 1 or 2 years and then you're over it. You know what I mean?
I mean, you got to keep in mind that the mental side of things is also important.
100%.
Because you're going to be in the state of, I don't have enough money. I am now 31, going on 32. I'm still staying in my parents' house. I can't even think of Wednesday away from my parents. I have to stay there because it works for me. That's all I can afford. I can't even afford it. Yeah. But because of they're able to help me, they were there to assist me. So you're in a dark place as a man because let's be honest, growing up we were told that you need to be the provider.
Exactly. And plus so there's certain expectations of you when you reach a certain age, you gotta be out your parents' house. You gotta make your own money.
Society puts that on us, right? And we are meant to live by it.
100%. But I just want to actually touch on that because maybe this is something that everybody else could relate to. I would think that you come from a prominent family where people know who you are, they know who your family are, and there's a certain level of, I would say, expectation out of the Petersens, if I can put it that way, right? Sure. So during that period of you losing your graph, right? Yeah. You don't know what's happening, it's lockdown. You can't even go outside and coach people, right? So your passion was on pause. Your money is on pause. You're not getting no pay, right? You're broke. I understand. You got a lot of zeros in your bank accounts. Yeah. You know what I mean? And everybody now looking at your life. And did you find maybe any pressure where you like, and I know for the most part you don't really care what people think, but like internally, did you struggle with maybe some pressure with like, hey, what are people gonna think? My brother's maybe doing great, or my parents
kind of cheese at the time.
Exactly. So now, you know, you being the older brother, you're supposed to be like the first one to be ahead, and then everyone else, you know, following up. How was that?
Actually,
you know, any pressure or anything?
You know the way you ask that question, it makes I've never spoken about this.
But this is what the people need.
I've never spoken about this, and the more you talk about it, the way you ask the question, and it's like, oh yes, wait, I did actually feel like that. Yeah. Because there were moments where you like sitting there and you're like, I'm supposed to be doing more. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm supposed to
Yeah.
I'm supposed to be conforming to what society says.
Uh-huh.
And then it really put me in a dark space in that sense. But I always knew that I needed to trust my process.
Mm.
You understand?
Mm-hmm.
I needed to trust my process,
Mm-hmm.
and that was all Coach B.
Yeah.
You know, he really came. That side of me really built the confidence that I needed to believe that I was good when I'm on the field.
Mm-hmm.
When I'm standing on the sidelines, believe that I'm capable when I'm good.
Yeah.
And so I always knew that at some point I'm going to get my breakthrough.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ask me how. Don't ask me what made me believe that. I just always knew that my chance would come.
Mm.
Let's not forget the prophecy of a 14-year-old boy. I mean, let's not forget.
Let's pause there quickly. We hear this a lot. Tell us what was the prophecy of that 14-year-old boy, so people actually get to understand why this and a prophecy is such an important thing for you.
So I grew up in the church.
Yeah.
We all know that.
Yeah,
Obviously.
we know that. We know that.
We grew up in the church, and we had these we were starting this D12 thing. So each person has like 12 people under them, like a cell group. And those 12 people must have 12 people under them. So like the 12 disciples thing.
Yeah.
So we had these guys from Australia come, and they spent a week with us, and they were introducing this thing, and they were trying to see who has the prophetic ministry. And they were like, you know, just teaching, you know, trying to teach it, trying to see who we can click for.
Yeah.
So I was big in the church, I went to the church a lot, so I was big in the youth, so I went to these type of things.
Yeah.
And the guy was prophesying, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm sitting in the back, like, where's chilled? I mean, there was a girl that I was there to see as well. You understand?
Oh, so you wanna know?
Just not act like we want to.
Sure.
Let's not act like that. If we're gonna act like that, then we
call it quits
right now. Let's not act like that. We all went there to praise and worship.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? Yes, we went there to hear the Holy Spirit, but also went there, you know.
Yeah. For the man.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So obviously, and then I'm sitting in the back, and this guy is like, "Hey, you," like he points at me. So I turn and I'm like, "Come here." Because I'm sitting there, I'm like, "God, no, please don't do this. No, don't make this man call me."
Sure.
And he looks at me and he points at me. He says, "You, the black vest, come to the front." So as I'm walking to the front and I get to the front, he's like, "Yeah, I don't know this man. Never met this man in my life." He says to me, "You play soccer?" I'm like, yeah, I do. You play on the wing?" And I said, "I'm playing wing." And I was like, now it's getting scary now.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah. And he's like, okay. So I get this picture, and this is the vision that I get of you, is that you are standing on the right hand side of God. And you are using your gift to bring people, young people, to God. Now, as a 14-year-old boy, you standing there and this guy is telling you about your life. And and fortunately for me, I had my godmother. As soon as I got called up, she ran upstairs to the top. You know where PCI is, there was a top.
Yeah, I remember that. In the auditorium, that's upstairs.
So there was a computer there, and whatever this guy was saying, she was typing out. So she just typed it out. She printed it, and she handed it to me. She said, "This is what the prophecy said. This is what he said about you."
You still got the paper?
No, unfortunately not. I wish I did. It's probably somewhere.
Somewhere, yeah.
I probably have to look.
We'll have hope that it's somewhere.
Exactly.
Sure.
So, it's just always been there. And because in that moment, when he's talking to you like that, you're like, "Yo, what are you saying? Like, this is too much for me to take on." Yeah. Because now that means that I must conform by the Christianity. I must be on the straight and narrow, because that's what we led to believe, that you must be on the straight and narrow, and then your prophecy will come to pass. At that time, I thought, hey, I'm going to be this professional, amazing soccer player, that I use my gift. But
God had other plans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, at least now the people know where that thing came from. So it's good that you pushed it out there, so that when they look at the entire process, they understand where the foundations of everything was. So
Yeah, I think that's important, but I think also people need to understand that, even in your dark moments, you gotta be able to trust that you're gonna get out of it and believe that you're gonna get out of it. And I think that's what I really take from my journey, to be quite honest.
So I'll just go back to something you mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
That dark period in your life. Now, this is something I think everyone can relate to about having dark periods in your life. But for you, during that dark period, like, what was the motivation? Number one. Number two, how did you keep that motivation? Like, for example, it's easy for people to say, you must work hard, you must stay focused.
So
Like, yeah, but like, how? You know what I mean?
yeah, sure.
So I think it would be wise if we just dive in a little bit more and go deeper and say, okay, how exactly? What was the process that worked for you? I know you're big on trusting the process, but how did you trust that process?
I think kind of Colin say I think, but for me, I knew that I needed to do something different if I wanted to achieve what I wanted to achieve. You understand? So in that time, I also had to look at where I was and how I could get there. So I'd have moments of relapse where I'm like, hey, this is never gonna work, or hey, I'm never gonna get to the point that I want to be at. But I also had to remind myself why I started it, because remember, you got to first find that purpose. How do you find that purpose?
That's what I was going to ask you.
You understand? So now that's the next thing. How did I know that this is what I needed to do? For me, it was more like there was something inside that made me feel happy when I did it. I could literally do it for free for 13 years before actually getting paid a decent salary to do it. So you really gotta it's really gotta come from inside, where you gotta really feel that this is what I want to do for the rest of my life. It's not about. It's just about does it make you happy? Does it make you happy?
Yeah.
Yes, it does.
Okay.
This is what I want to do. So I got to be disciplined. I got to put the right attention to it. I got to do what needs to be done for me to achieve that.
Yeah.
So now when I get to this dark place now, and I've been doing so well, I get to this dark place where I don't have a job, and now I got to still keep that. At the same time, struggling this dark place, it's kind of difficult, but you got to remember why.
Yeah, for sure.
Your why is there, and then you got to sit and think, hey, is it worth it? And then you got to really believe that you are capable of doing it. That's why trust in the process is important, because the full saying goes, trust the process. It's shaping you and molding you for what is rightfully yours. Yeah. That's what I live by, you know that.
Yeah. That's the motto.
That's literally my motto.
Yeah.
And what it means is that the stage I'm in now is preparing me for where I need to go. But I've really got to believe that. Yeah. You understand that I need to go through this in order for me to enjoy the end goal, which is where I really would like to be. Yeah. So you see, you have your moments where you feel like, hey, this is crazy hope. You're sitting by yourself and you're like, nah, you're mad, going off your head. But end of the day, what makes you happy? What makes you get up? Going to sit behind a desk for 8 hours, or really doing what you love? Imagine for me the stage I'm in my life where I can get up and go and do what I love and stand on the field the whole day because I love doing it.
Yeah. So would you say then it's true the saying that goes by, do what you love and you'll never work a day in your life?
That's so true. Like, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Because you want to do it because it brings you so much joy.
Yeah.
You understand? Like, people will probably look at me and think, he's just saying that because he get a nice salary at Amazulu. Let me tell you something. If I have to go back into accounting, I probably could earn double what I'm earning at Amazulu.
Yeah. As it stands right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You understand? So this is not about money. This is about me being able to, one, not go to work on Monday, because Monday is off.
So you literally got a 4-day work week?
No, the rest of the week I work. Weekends I work.
Yeah.
You understand? I work on weekends. But have you ever felt what it's like to be off on a Monday Have you ever?
That's beautiful.
A
Nothing
Monday?
can compare. You know what? I'd actually prefer, and let's also yell back from the peoples, but like what I found, there's no comparison. It's so much better taking off on a Monday than it is taking off on a Friday.
Exactly.
It literally feels like you've only got, which I mean, yeah, that's true. You've only got literally 4 days of work for the week that's coming up, but they're feeling
You
like,
know, after a weekend, you just sit and you chill and you prepare for the week. It's amazing. But now we deviate, you know. But what I'm trying to say is that I get that off and I only go to work at 3 o'clock, finish at 6 o'clock.
3 hours.
But obviously, there's other things that I do behind the scenes. But literally, that's my working time, my work time. You understand? So, just on the weekends, I'm on the field all day. Sometimes a Sunday, maybe in the afternoon. So, obviously, it compensates, but it don't matter. I love it.
Exactly.
You'll
choose
so,
it over and over.
So, in that moment where you're like, hey, I'm in this dark place, how do I get out of it? You got to wake up and you got to go into that bathroom and you got to look in the mirror and you got to say, hey, I believe. There was something that my parents said to me. They said, hey, start doing affirmations. I was like, sorry for what I was saying. Yeah, but listen to what I said to my I literally said to my I said, hey, that's why people think. Don't tell me about that. You understand?
Sure.
That's literally what I said. So she said, okay, no problem. She told me do a vision board. I said the same thing. I literally said the same thing to her. Until I started doing it. I think I started with vision boards and I put pictures of what I wanted to achieve within that year.
Yeah.
You know, just there, and I put it somewhere when I wake up, I see it. Right? I literally see it. So subconsciously, what I want to achieve, I'm seeing every day. So subconsciously, I know I'm working towards that. You understand what I'm saying? So now I'm working towards that, and in the back of my mind, it's just like, hey, that's what I need to achieve. You know, the once I look back at my vision board and I'm like, okay, I done that. I was like, yeah.
Still works.
Everything, literally everything besides love, one day, because love has always been on day every year. Besides love, I've achieved.
Right, so I'd like to thank everybody for tuning in. If you made it this far, you're a real one. They are, bro.
Okay.
We all that can talk.
No, they must stay for a long run.
Yeah.
But we thank them for being here.
But if you made it this far, you know what I mean? It's for us, it's an achievement. You stay this long. But I also want to thank you for opening up because you're not that type of person. So for you, I think it's a big stride. It's a big step today.
You know, today it was so interesting because you ask questions and I'm like, yo, these things happened.
Yeah.
And subconsciously, I just shuts it out. And like literally while we're sitting there and talking, and then light bulb moments, and it's like, oh yes, that's how I felt at that moment. And I think I hope and I pray that how I got through that moment helps others. Some people might not have it the same.
Yeah.
In terms of the support I had, but I think you will find your way if you really want to get it done.
Yeah.
But it comes with a lot of discipline, the right attitude,
a lot of focus,
a lot of belief, a lot of behind the scenes hard work, late nights. Sometimes you sleep in 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning because you put in those hours so you can achieve what you want to achieve.
Yeah.
Behind the scenes, and one day it will definitely pay off. Definitely pay off.
For sure. Yeah, no, I like that because I think for the show and what we want to do and where we want to go, these are type of things that we want to do. We want to equip people with tools. So for you that's watching, listening to Brice's story and you getting some vital information, you can look at his life where he is now and not even understand what the process was before you got to this place.
But I think people also need to understand that it's not like I'm acting like I've achieved.
Yeah, no, for sure.
You understand? It's about me, where I was, and where I am
now. Yeah. Because you still,
celebrating that.
but you also still got so much more
That I want to achieve.
Exactly.
You understand?
So it's not the end all and be all.
Exactly.
Yeah. So I think also what we want to do is create that platform where we're opening conversations for these type of things, you know. And in the episodes to come, we're gonna touch a lot more on those topics. But like equipping people, man, it's so key because people go to stuff every day. You know what I mean? We go to stuff every day. And sometimes you might not see the hope, you might not see the light at the end of the tunnel, but I think listening to stories like this where people look at your life and they think you got it together. They think, you know, you eat, but they don't understand like all that other stuff that's behind the scenes that's happening and the process it took for you to get to where you are.
You know, when you drive in your car sitting on empty, and you just sitting like this, like, yeah, I'll make it up.
Exactly.
You understand? So you're in those moments and you really just gotta be able to rise above it and try and find ways that's gonna help you. We're all different. We're all different. We're all gonna experience different things.
100%.
We're all gonna get to a point where we experience something that someone else hasn't, but we gotta learn and trust our process that we need to learn something out of the situation. And as long as you believe and focus on what you want to do, I think you will definitely get it.
Yeah.
There's no doubts about it.
Yeah. And I'm not saying like we counselors or we counsel workers.
We're just using our judgment.
We just, whatever we've been through, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
Because these are conversations that need to be had, and there's a lot more that we feel needs to be talked about. You know, but if you stay tuned, we'll get there. You know, we'll get there.
Yeah, because we only spoke about one person today. Spotlight is on me, man. It's sweat.
I got a towel for him, but you can't see it.
What like you were saying?
I was going to tell myself.
Next time it's your turn to be the one seat.
Yeah, you know, we focused a lot on Coach B and his journey today. And we felt it's an important way to kick off the podcast because...
No, we didn't discuss it. We just ended up being like that, to be quite honest.
We felt.
I think they ganged up on me or something.
It's about him today, right? But going forward, you know, we'll expand more, and we just hope that you're gonna join us for this ride. And yeah, this has been Converse with A
and B. So
see yourself out.